Beyond. Michael Galvis, welcome back to stream. How are you doing today?
Ooh, I'm doing so good. I'm so excited to be here.
We got back to work and I was instantly like, Michael, will you be on our first stream of 2022? So thank you.
Absolutely.
Hoping if you're watching this that your holidays were bright and that you maybe snuck in a little bit of gaming time. But if you or someone you love found under their holiday trees of whatever variety a new book from last year from Dungeons and Dragons, I hope that you put it through its paces. And we are going to sit today and play some favorites among the books of 2021 because there was a whole lot of good stuff that came out last year, and also because this is just really fun for me and for Michael. I'm going to speak for you here. This was our first year at D&D Beyond, where we got to sort of go in depth on all of this stuff coming out. We've had a great time going through it, but we haven't taken a moment to sit down and kind of look at the whole picture. So even though I absolutely hate choosing bests and favorites, I let myself get talked into this. Great idea. And we are going to do that today among the books. Michael, will you tell us what came out last year?
Oh boy. I forgot myself and then I started looking into it. It's like, that was last year? So we had 5 releases last year. We had Candlekeep Mysteries, an amazing collection of adventures all based around books. We had Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, which was your everything horror that you could ever want. Then we had The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, a fantastic adventure set throughout the Feywild, or um, Feywild adjacent as well. Then you have Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, everything dragons. I mean, it's in the title. It's a
So many
treasury of
dragons.
dragons. And then finally, we had Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos, everything that you would need to run adventures at your own magical school or be your own student of magic.
All right, and we are making up the rules for this. So we're roughly going to do this half and half, sort of favorite stuff as players and favorite stuff as DMs, but we may bounce around, we may invent categories. And we would love to hear some of your thoughts and questions and comments on faves from this year. So please drop those in the chat, and our incredible moderators are feeding them to me for my personal enjoyment and also to share on stream in that order. Uh, First up, among the player options, let's start big. We had 4 new subclasses that were released officially in 2021 for Dungeons and Dragons. In Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, we got the Warlock of the Undead. We got the Bard of the College of Spirits. And in Fistman's Treasury of Dragons, we got the Monk of the Way of the Ascendant Dragon. And we got the Ranger, or Drake Warden, or the Drake Warden Ranger. Do you say that one in another order? And every time I do this to myself, I'm always doing it backwards. Out of those, do you have a favorite?
So this was actually kind of hard because flavor wise, I love the Undead Warlock. I have a player right now who's playing one. He just hit level 10. And that subclass, I forget the name of the feature, but with that subclass, if you hit 0 hit points, you kind of like explode in
We
like
will.
necrotic energy.
Hold on.
And
I
so
can just go
love the
look things
flavor
up,
of
so I'm
that.
going to do that. Hmm?
Yeah, and then but if I had to pick a favorite out of the 4, it would have to be the Drake Warden Ranger. Now, I was doing some reflecting back on 2021 and my D&D career and realized that I've never played a ranger. I have literally played every single class in the game except for a ranger. I'm sure I might have like tried one out back in like 3.5 or some earlier edition, but for 5th edition, never touched it. I've always just read about it, researched builds, and just been like, maybe I'll just make like another bard. But this subclass is the second I have the opportunity to play ranger, I'm going to play a Drake Warden Ranger because I just love the amount of flavor in that particular subclass.
Oh, that's fabulous. So first we're gonna go look up our Warlock of the Undead. the side note, the basic form of dread is one of the things that makes this such a fun and flavorful class, which I think if you're watching various games, including our own House of Lament from last year, you have seen some great examples of this already. Um, but I think
Necrotic Husk,
which
is that the one? Is that the feature that I was thinking of?
yeah, in addition, when you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you can use a reaction to drop to 1 hit point instead and cause your body to erupt with deathly energy.
That is so cool.
And
I did forget about Form of Dread, how cool it is, because you get to flavor it in your own way. So,
mhm,
I mean, I've seen it described in various ways, like what the Form of Dread looks like. And any opportunity that I get to flavor things in my own way, add my own little flair, is just amazing.
absolutely. I'm scrolling straight to, of course, the most important element of the Drake Warden.
Yeah,
Um, and frankly, the most important element is probably the adjustment that it makes in line with the new alternate way of doing Rangers introduced in Tasha's that lets them be a little more action efficient. But the key emotional important thing it does is this little guy. Your Drake buddy who comes with you on your career as a Drake Warden Ranger and grows with you in again a way that you get to flavor as you like. That I think that combination of you have freedom, but we're not going to leave you completely at sea so that you have to invent every element of this from scratch. That balance that I think good game design is always striving after. A bunch of my favorite things from this year have that, from the guidance and inspiration in creating domains of dread to flavoring the growth and development of your Drake Warden pet. It's a tough target to hit. And of course, that's what makes game designers so cool is hitting that target. So they're not, you don't have to do the entire thing from scratch, but you're also not feeling overly constrained. That's probably going to be a theme for me in my faves. All
yeah,
which
I
is to
totally
say, I
agree.
guess, yeah,
Any built-in opportunity to differentiate myself from someone who may be playing the exact same subclass or maybe the exact same ancestry is uh that's a win in my book when it comes to game design. I always want to feel like my character is super unique. um but sometimes I struggle with that. Sometimes I struggle with, you know, pulling in that originality. And so like having this sort of opportunity where the subclass itself says like when you summon your Drake, you can decide what color they are or like what kind of features that they have. Because that tells me, okay, like I'm feeling like I want a purple Drake right now. And I could just pop that in and it works with the subclass and it helps my character feel different even if someone else has their own little companion.
yeah. And speaking of ways to use the mechanics to make your particular story stand out, I have agonized over my own pick for a favorite subclass from this year because I do find them all intriguing. But I think I might have to give it to the Van Richten's Guide Bard College of Spirits because the idea specifically of taking ghost stories and making them tied into mechanical benefits is both such a potent way to add rich lore to the world and to make it can be hard to be like bards you should draw power from stories. What does that mean? What does that look like? How would that actually work? And this feels like such a logical, like, oh, of course there'd be kind of a spirit medium-esque drawing on that power, which we've now seen that supernatural flavor work across a few different classes. So you could have just the most haunted party at this point without having any you know get your phantom rogue, get your college of spirits bard, just everybody's haunted up in here. You have some beautiful options for ghost play in D&D at this point, but I think I reserve the right to change my mind every 3 seconds. But here's our bard college of spirits summoning an ancient warrior with a tale from beyond. And you know what? Just for the heck of it, Michael, will you roll a d12?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I actually have I have to pull out physical dice because the wonderful Joe Star gifted me a set for Christmas. Um, Check these guys out. They're like made of
They're so
metal and they have
pretty.
like little dragon scales. So that is a 5.
Hold that up again for us one more time.
Oh.
I'm
Wait,
not
hold
making you prove you had a 5. I just want to show your die off.
Oh, I was like, I really did roll a 5. There you go. I don't know if it's gonna come in focus, but
The colors are coming
nifty.
through.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, and that means the very flavorful Tale of the Avenger. For 1 minute, any creature that hits the target with a melee attack takes force damage equal to a roll of your bardic inspiration die. Which, first of all, makes your bardic inspiration die relevant again in a way that will naturally grow in power over time. Nice work there. And B is just extremely cool. Um, okay, so reluctantly forced ourselves to pick faves among the subclasses that were introduced this year. I'm just gonna, thank goodness for my sake that we did not have to do this for the previous year, or we'd have to choose from favorites, including all of Tasha's, and we would be here for 6 hours.
It would never happen. That stream would never end.
The 24-hour marathon stream that's just us trying to decide what our favorites are.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll pick a cause and y'all can donate and we'll figure it out. All right. But in addition to new ways to play with your class, there was tons of other stuff that got introduced last year. Do you have, Michael, a favorite from among the, I'm going to say, new races and lineages? Because there were a lot of new ways to play in those buckets that got introduced last year between the Dampier, the Hexblood, the Reborn, the Harengon, the Fairy, 3 kinds of Dragonborn in new incarnations, and the Owlin.
There was so much good stuff with these new ancestries and lineages. I fell in love with the new Dragonborn. There's just I feel like the approach to them just adds more dragon to my Dragonborn that I really, really love. Uh, I had so much fun with the Owlin, seeing all of the fantastic artwork that's come out for them. The fairies are just they're fairies. Why would you not love fairies? Um, but if I had to pick a favorite ancestry, not taking the lineages into account, the Harengon would be my favorite because I I love their bonus action ability to leap. And I know that's such a small thing, uh, but they could be small or medium sized. So like it it's just so cute thinking of this like small size little hair leaping like I forget it's like 10 feet or so as a bonus action and mechanically it works really well because it doesn't trigger opportunity attacks and they're just so cute. Just
It's
look at
5
that. Look at
times your
those
proficiency
ears.
bonus. It's the reason it, the bonus action jump, also scales with you as you grow in power, which again, smart. A number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus without provoking opportunity attacks. You can use it only if your speed is greater than 0, a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you get them all back when you take a little bunny nap. By which I mean a
Look,
long
buddy,
rest,
yeah.
don't be misled.
I will say though, if I had to choose between the ancestries and the lineages are my favorite of everything
Ooh,
because the lineages they you can just there's so much roleplay potential in them. There's so much potential in them for building out your backgrounds because you can just apply them to on top of like whatever character that you have. So these are the lineages.
multiplies.
You don't have to, yeah, you don't have to start the game as like a Hexblood or a Dampier, which you see here. You can be in the middle of a campaign, something happens, and then your actual statistics and uh, features slightly change based off of oh, I was brought back to life by a malevolent spirit in this haunted house and so now I'm a reborn or a witch has gotten a drop of my blood and used it to curse me and turned me into a hexblood. Here's the reborn. I have to say in my current campaign that I am running I have 5 players. 4 of them are reborn. And they are all very different from one another, which is really cool. Um, One of my characters has no memory of his past life. He just recalls waking up in a white tree, a tree of like white bark, crawling out of it, and so we've been exploring that. The other one was killed by some strange Cthulhu-esque monster and then brought back to life by um, like a council of I don't know if he's
Are these
watching, but a
spoilers? Are your
council
players
brought him
watching?
back.
Michael's players, stop watching. I want all your secrets.
I'm gonna spoil stuff. So we're exploring that, and then the other two are brothers who um died in a very horrific but very natural way, but were mysteriously brought back, and they don't know why or what brought them back. So we're exploring that too. So there's just a lot of death, I guess, in my party, but it's all different, right? Like they're all the same lineage, but have completely different backstories, and the implications of their backstories are just huge. It's just leading to these huge subplots that I've been running and I'm so excited about.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that's a gift to you as the DM. That's a gift to the other players, and clearly allows for a lot of flexibility while having a very clear flavor. It's the perfect mix. I
What about you?
once I know I'm trying to weasel out of answering that question. Oh, look, we're out of time. I early favorite and close runner up for me has to be the Hex Blood. That really captured my imagination. Um, it's just a great concept that incorporates particular dark fantasy flavor in such an interesting way. While I love, classic, there's obviously a deep, deep well of like vampire lore and mythology and semi vampire lore and mythology and all this stuff to draw on. While there is also a wealth like that for things like the influence of witches and hags and curses, it doesn't feel as much like I have seen and done myself a million versions of that. Hexblood feels just a really smart flavor to bring in. With some uniquely fun and creepy mechanics, like breaking off a little piece of yourself to leave a little seeing eye wherever you need it to be, is just so it's very useful, very fun, extremely strong flavor. Just a really fun combination. Got to play a Hexblood pretty early on with once that one came out and loved it very much. But I've been trying to figure out how to justify my choice of fave. It's the Owlin. It's just the Owlin because I don't know if you've seen the Owlin. Um, The Owlin are so cute. It's such a good idea. We have a variety of different bird flavors existing in D&D. But you know, Michael, that I am new to the world of Magic the Gathering. So learning that there was this sort of ready-made perfect fit kind of creature that existed in there, I think it would have pained me not to be able to play an Owlin the more I learned about this setting and about this world. And I think they were really smartly done in ways to sort of subtly set them apart while still having, you don't want to be like, and this one can't fly for no reason. Um,
And before
so
the penguin race.
yeah, there we go. Penguins and emus and whatnot. Why can't I remember how to? There we go. Pulling up the actual page here. So
Yeah,
yes,
what I loved
very
about oh, sorry, go ahead.
what you lived about.
What I loved about the Owlin is, um, this is gonna sound so dumb, Amy, was that I saw the Alan Ray's artwork and I was like, "That's adorable. I love that." But it never occurred to me until someone said it that you could be like a different type of owl, like you could be a barn owlin. And I was like, "Wait, this makes it even better because now I can look at the different types of owls out there and pick one for my own owlin."
Look, that's a
Like who
wonderful
knew?
point. That I mean,
Who knew?
there is a reason to draw on existing categories such as an owl that already comes in a million different variations that will therefore inspire your potential fantasy interpretations of an owl. That's just good sense, you know. I think that's a great idea. And of course, you get some dark vision to make you especially owl feeling. You get silent feathers to make you especially owl feeling. But at least so far, it doesn't seem like anything in this particularly throws it off of game balance and all of the other things that you want to simultaneously serve. All
Also,
right.
fun fact, they get do you know why they get stealth proficiency?
Is that I assumed there was some kind of real science fact about owl feathers behind it, but I don't know.
Yeah, owls, I believe, are the quietest birds when it comes to the sound that they make while flying. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not
Bird
clearly I'm not
facts,
like
chat.
Brennan Lee
Help us with
Mulligan.
bird facts.
Yeah, where's Brennan when you need him? But owls are very quiet, I know that much.
See?
Oh, man.
Very cool. Very smart design. Very well done. And I'm so glad that you're all here on our first stream back from break because we are both very loopy. And this is the way I hope to stay forever. But voice your opinion in the chat. Hmm? We do okay. Let's see. Before we can move on to some of our other favorite things introduced in these books and some DM favorites, I'm gonna throw in our first chat question, which comes from Aaron Lore. What is your favorite potential pet that was released? Independent of which school you'd be enrolling in Strixhaven, which is your favorite mascot? Or I guess you could throw the Drake in there as a potential pet. Depending on how liberal your DM is with this, any monster from this year is probably a potential pet. But let's limit ourselves to the things that seem most pet like. Michael, what's your fave?
The Witherbloom pest. So,
Oh,
these are worm-like creatures about the size of a cat that have spikes all over them, and they're purplish in color. I think they have little bits of green in them as well. Uh, Nasty little creatures. They have a habit of snapping even at their owners. Within Magic the Gathering lore, um, the the pests can readily be turned into magical essence that can be used to cast spells. I don't believe it got pulled into the D&D lore, but I do love the idea that these Witherbloom students are carrying around and caring for these very vicious, small but kind of cute and ugly in a way creatures with the intent of turning them into magical essence, if the need arises.
and you could probably find a way to make that happen in your game. I think it is very tough. All of the pets are, all of the mascots are very, very cool. I think I might actually, you know what? I'm going to change my mind on the fly because they are all great, but I've talked about what I love about some of the others in the past. And I don't think I have spent enough time enthusing about our friends, the fractals,
Mm.
about the little creatures of math who make up the mascots for Quandrix College, um, who are small constructs. They're because of their arithmetic basis. Fractal mascots can alter both their size and density. Quandrix College has adopted it as its mascot. Um, they are living equations. They look like a creature made from facets of hard light, but they're living equations that are created by extrapolating magic from the mathematical patterns in nature, which is just awesome. Good luck to the DMs of the world in describing those. I don't know. You look closer at it and it looks the same as when it was farther. And then you look closer again and it looks the same as when it was medium and when it was farther. And I don't know. That should be like a challenge on your concentration check or something if you're trying to inspect a fractal mascot. House rule. I don't know. But I love this idea. I love that they can augment and diminish. They have something called a quantum strike. They've just got real fun science flavor without feeling like they depart from the magical school. And I dig it.
Yeah, I agree. I love my fractals. There's a lot of flavor there to love.
These are a few of our favorite things from the 2021 slate of Dungeons and Dragons releases. And come back in one sec, and we will be talking about some of our favorite things that we're looking forward to playing with as dungeon masters from this set and more faves that did not fit in this first half on our first stream back in New Year 2022.
It's D&D.